I think it goes without saying, if you're a long-time viewer of this channel, it should be very clear that I'm a huge fan of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, and it's for good reason. It's a franchise that, to me, is very close to my heart. I love playing the games, being invested in the characters, their stories, the set pieces, the gags, the music, the fan art that's not weird, the awesome fan games I've created over the years. It goes without saying, I love the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, and I felt what better time to talk about Sonic than for his 35th anniversary this year. I've been a fan of the Sonic franchise for as long as I can remember. I recall being in awestruck when I saw his games when I visited a neighbor's house when I was younger at the time. I believe they had a lot of Sonic games, stuff like Shadow the Hedgehog 2005, Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Gems Collection, because how else were they playing Sonic on console in the early 2010s? Eventually, I would wind up getting Sonic's games for myself. The earliest two Sonic titles I can recall getting is Sonic Colors on the DS and later on the Wii, and Sonic Unleashed for the Wii, before I would eventually get the version made for PlayStation 3. And would later on play the classic Genesis Sonic titles via the Christian Whitehead releases that were made for mobile devices at the time. Those same versions would be the basis for those versions you see in Sonic Origins. I was also grabbed by Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games and the London 2012 Olympic Games, the latter of which being the one I'd always go back to. But this is a video about Sonic, so I'll save Mario for a later time. As I got older, I would be able to try out Sonic Mania, and would fall in love with it. To this day, I'm still in awe at how great Sonic Mania is. But I never got to experience the next-gen Sonic title at the time, Sonic Forces, despite the fact I wanted to play it because of how hyped the reveal trailer was at the time. But of course, I would later try out Sonic Forces, and I didn't hate it. But deep down, I knew that it needed way more meat on its bones. I would later on fully play Sonic Generations, as I knew I only got a taste of it from what I've seen from that same neighbor's place, Wooden Tail, and I also enjoyed it a lot. This was also around the time when I became aware of criticism around Sonic as a franchise and how it didn't take itself seriously, and how it was doomed, or maybe the elusive Sonic was never good fallacy. And of course, this would only become exemplified when the first Sonic movie trailer dropped. Believe it or not, I tried to justify how ugly Sonic looked, but in hindsight, I am grateful they delayed the movie and gave us a Sonic design that was more in line with the character we all know and love. And I watched the movie around the time it came out, and that was shortly before the pandemic hit. At the time, I loved it. And to this day, I still think this is a good Sonic movie, even if I know the future Sonic films would later eclipse it. But the success of this movie managed to instill hype into Sonic fans, and it was shown that this character that I loved since I was a kid could still exist in the current day. And then we would get to Sonic Frontiers. I asked for this game for Christmas that year, and I wanted to try out, even though I knew at first the press release footage was making people afraid that this game was going to be bad. But thankfully, when I played it, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. A desire to move forward and to take Sonic seriously. I knew Sonic was often considered the butt of the joke for years, to the point where it felt like even Sonic wasn't taking himself seriously anymore. Sure, as a kid, it entertained me just fine, but as an adult, whenever I hear Baldy nose hair, I don't smirk, I cringe. From what I know, Sonic was never meant to be considered a joke. He was meant to be cool. That's how he was portrayed in the 90s. He was portrayed as a speedy character with cockiness, determination, and a bit of attitude. And for a while, it felt like Sonic as a franchise was just downplaying itself to the point where it just didn't take itself seriously anymore. I'm not saying the franchise should be super serious all the time, far from it. A Sonic game is allowed to be a bit more lighthearted in tone. But I don't think it's good to portray Sonic as nothing more than a Saturday morning cartoon character with humor only a toddler would laugh at. And I didn't hate that when I was younger, but it shocks me I tolerated it when I grew up with Sonic Unleashed, a Sonic game where it actually has a story that many fans praised in retrospect. And since I'm on the topic, I was also shocked at the amount of people who hated Sonic Unleashed at the time. I'm glad that recently many fans have come out to say that it was actually a good game all along. It just didn't click with the right people. People who felt this game was bad was solely on the Werehog. And I don't want to act like the Werehog is this masterpiece of gameplay style, but I do feel the hate for it was overblown. Is the Werehog perfect? No, but even I agree these levels have their moments, but I don't think they made a game a 4 out of 10 IGN. And yes, I'm still salty about that awful review. My god. It's only thanks to Sonic Unleashed Recompiled that Sonic Unleashed got more attention, as people were able to experience it in far better quality than before. To this day, I still think this is an impressive looking game for the time. And I personally hope that Sonic Unleashed gets a proper remaster for more audiences, because I know for a fact not everybody is able to figure out how to insert a Xbox 360 ISO file to their computer legally. Back to Sonic Frontiers. When I played it, I felt like it was a game that was trying to take itself seriously and push Sonic into a new direction. One where Sonic can feel fresh and new in the modern age, appealing to both current fans and new fans. And thankfully, the success of this game, alongside the game being received well by fans with updates addressing feedback, told me that they were legitimately listening. And I'm more grateful that many more people have recognized Sonic as an icon. I've talked to my dad about Sonic before, and he has told me he remembered playing Sonic back when he was younger, and he knows for a fact I love it, considering I've talked about it online and in real life, and back when I was younger. Heck, when Sonic 3 came out, I went to watch it a second time with my dad and his girlfriend and my younger brother. Not only because I wanted to spend time with them, because the movie was so good, I wanted to see it again. And it was even better the second time. Even my dad's girlfriend, who wasn't familiar with the Sonic lore, said she enjoyed the movie. And you can bet I'm watching Sonic 4 when it drops, because I am really excited for the future of the movie franchise. I also played Sonic X Shadow Generations, and I loved Shadow Generations. It was, to me, the best told story in a Sonic game, and it showed me that Sonic was starting to be taken seriously again. And then, when I got the Switch 2, I got Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and I know the debate already on which game is better, Mario Kart World or Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. In my opinion, these are both fantastic games. Basically, both as good. And I can tell they spent a while working on making a genuinely fun racing game, and I'm happy that it's as fun as it is, and that's resonating with not only the people, but also many Sonic fans. It's wild to me that I can say we have a game where Ichiban from the Yakuza franchise can race against Steve from Minecraft. Funny enough, that's also a childhood favorite of mine, but that I got back into recently, you know, whatever, blah. And now, we're here now. And I just wanted to say this. I feel Sonic as a franchise genuinely had an impact on my life. I never realized it at the time, but I feel Sonic genuinely can teach you important lessons on how to stand up for yourself and to stand up for what you think is right. Sonic the character is meant to represent the freedom of nature, and Dr. Robotnik, better known as Eggman, represents ego, power, control, and industrialism. If you think I'm being hyperbolic for that last statement, Eggman makes robots and traps flickies inside of them. And as cartoonish as it was portrayed, with Eggman being entertaining as a villain because his ego gets in the way of his intellect, it does paint a picture that Sonic is meant to fight for what he believes to be the right thing to do. And he's always willing to help. And more importantly, he helped many of us feel something. I mean, you can take what you will, what Sonic is meant to represent, but to me, I think fighting for what is right is one of the main reasons why people love him. He's a character that feels like a beacon of hope, that only does what he does because he believes it's right, but also because, well, he's a fast blue hedgehog, and he obviously likes to run. But with that out of the way, I just wanted to end this off with a send-off for this video, basically saying, thank you, Sonic, and happy 35th anniversary. Also, Sega, if you're watching this, can you please do the Sonic Unleashed remaster? Please, I'm begging you!